All right, El Segundo dominated here today. I mean, their defense was on fire. They got on the board first. They finished, what was it, 28-13. Egidio, what did you see up there?
What a dominating performance by both sides of the ball, offense and defense. A good test though for both teams, Leuzinger and El Segundo. And Coach Shevlin said he was looking forward to this first game, this opening game, because he really gets to see what both sides of the ball are made of, and even special teams. They all did a terrific job. A little bit of adversity. They had to climb back in there after a few penalties or after a few missed calls. But
it was like the coach penalties,
the
though,
coach penalties
mostly,
and the sideline
yeah.
penalties. So those happen week one, and once they get those sharpened out, I think it's still a good win for El Segundo. They have a very tough schedule ahead, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but still a good way to open up the season here against Leuzinger.
Absolutely. So what were your thoughts about switching up that quarterback? It seemed to really work. It threw Leuzinger off. They weren't expecting it. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to handle it. What did you think about that?
Starting off, I wasn't too sure about it, to be honest with you. And even Coach Shevlin, when I asked him, I was like, how comfortable do you feel going into the season with two quarterbacks? A lot of coaches don't like that situation. But he said he felt good about it. Both guys brought something different to the table, and that's what was exciting. Jake Palmer, the more elusive runner out of the two, and then LaGuardia with a big arm, which we saw. LaGuardia ended up with 9 for 10, 216 yards, and 2 touchdowns through the air. Great numbers. Jake Palmer had 1 rushing touchdown. And I think it worked out great, especially in this ball game. It's the first game of the season, so this Leuzinger defense didn't have a lot of tape, especially no tape whatsoever on LaGuardia, and it did throw him off guard for a minute there. And I think it's going to work out well as long as both quarterbacks know their role and don't let their ego get the best of them.
That's right. Speaking of LaGuardia, his favorite target seemed to be Brooks, and it worked twice tonight. I talked to Brooks post-game, and he said, they've really been forming a relationship and a friendship outside of the field and more so in the classroom. They share some classes together. So it seems that they're really meshing together on the field. It was really great to see them.
And it's got to help both these quarterbacks, no matter who's in the game there. When you have a 6'2", 180-pound wide receiver out wide that can catch balls as well and has great speed. But Ahmad Brooks, another terrific performance by him. This year, he's the player to watch, and that's from Coach Shevlin's mouth.
Absolutely.
He had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, got it done on offense and defense.
So speaking of speed, let's talk about Taz. He is amazing, runs through everything out there. What did you think about his performance tonight?
Once again, in his final season, this guy is like a video game. He's a highlight package in his own. A little bit conservative today, and it's understandable. First game against a good defense. That big defensive line up front for the Olympians is nothing to mess around with. And you don't want to let Taz, we still got a long way. You don't want to let him loose too early on here.
That's right. Hold him back a little bit.
Hold him back a little. Save something for those big games coming up. But still, a great performance by him. And that's the good thing of this team. They share the ball well, and they share success well. And I think that's a big key to their success this year.
Being on the sidelines, I can kind of see Taz communicating with his quarterbacks what he wanted to see, what he needed out there. And that was huge for this team. If they can get that done and have that communication, I think they will go very far this season.
Yeah, like I said, they look good. First game down, a big, tough challenge ahead of them with the upcoming games. But Taz to say, Jake Palmer, Ahmad Brooks, Kobe LaGuardia, these guys are going to be key players. And then that defense was amazing once again.
Brasher, let's talk about his performance tonight. What did you think about that?
Brasher was everywhere. I think we called his name is Susie a lot of times during the broadcast, and number 24 was everywhere on defense and even made some nice offensive plays. Mark Binder was a little quiet tonight, had that huge sack on 4th down. He was the leading tackler last year, so expect big things by him, but this defense is something to watch out for because those big guys up front and those linebackers, watch out for those guys. They're going to be a nightmare for opposing offenses.
Speaking of that, next week they have Oak Park. They played Oak Park in the CIF finals or playoffs a few seasons ago, if I corrected, right? What do you foresee happening next season, or next game, that is?
Well, Oak Park is a game that can win. Oak Park is a rebuilding team this year. Of course, last year, like you mentioned, they did go to the playoffs. They did lose their leading passer, their quarterback to graduation, as well as their top runner. Their running back also graduated last year. So all underclassmen who didn't put up big numbers. So it's still it's still a mystery over there at Oak Park what they can expect from those guys. But I think that's a game El Segundo can definitely go in there and win on the road and should leave 2-0 after week 2.
Nice. And then following that, once again, El Segundo's on the road. They're playing Maricosta. Now, this is a game that has been in the talks for multiple seasons. Coach Shevlin has spoke that he is so very excited about this. It's finally happening. They are a great, great team. What do you foresee happening there? That is going to be, tempers are going to be rising. It's going to be a scrappy one, I feel like.
That rivalry is real because I remember we covered the Maricosta and El Segundo baseball game, and that was in the playoffs, and that crowd was insane. It was a very fun atmosphere, just like football will be, probably even more in a couple of weeks, but that should be a great game. Once you look at the schedule for the Eagles, it looks like that's the toughest game on the calendar, almost till the end of the game, till the end of the season when you get to that Lawndale game and that Hawthorne game there in late October. But that Maricosta game, this is a team that went third in the third round of the playoffs last year, very deep, went for over 2,000 yards on in passing and then over 1,000 yards on the ground. So this team can go through the air and on the ground, and they have everybody coming back on offense and defense, so it should definitely be the toughest challenge to date for El Segundo week 3 against the Mustangs.
El Segundo's defense will definitely be tested that week, which is good. I mean, good challenging competition is going to be great for this team. Coach Shevlin has spoken about the maturity, so it seems that they're really handling themselves well.
Yeah, and then this team, when I talked to them in the preseason, they said they have one goal in mind. They want to go all the way, win it all. This is a group that's returning a lot of starters last year. And hey, if to put those kind of predictions out there, if you want to go all the way, you have to beat these kind of teams like Maricosta and Lawndale and Hawthorne and some of the other teams they're going to see this year. Culver City, of course, should always be tough. And then maybe some other teams that might surprise us. Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, you never know.
They got to play it week by week. I mean, and every game counts at this point.
Every game counts, and especially in this tough Ocean League. Once we get to those league games, it's going to be very, very competitive. Daily Breeze has Lawndale with a prediction to win the Ocean League. Hawthorne is a dark horse, and they haven't really talked about El Segundo, and I think that's a chip on their shoulder that the Eagles are playing with this upcoming season.
Yeah, they're kind of the little underdogs in their area, but we'll see. I think that they have a really good chance. They're playing well from this game, I don't have any doubts that the Eagles can go all the way.
No, definitely. And then they come back here on the back at home at Hazelton Field. After that Maricosta game, they play Torrance. That should be, on paper, it looks like another win for El Segundo. Torrance, another rebuilding program, had 3 wins last year, went 3-7. But Coach Rock down there in Torrance definitely gets their guys ready to play, and they play smash mouth football. It should be a fun game, regardless of the records.
That's going to do it for us tonight. For El Segundo TV, I'm Brittany Rodriguez, joined by Egidio DeLiu.